second. Don't remember where that is. Activity monitor. How do we... 1 second. Okay, here we go. So, I'm just doing a stream today because, not that this is really important, I want to see the activity monitor live. And how does that make sense? Memory. Holy Moses. Do you know how much memory Zwift is taking right now? 5.6 gigs. Training Peaks is taking 2.5. What the hell? Yeah. Okay. So Zwift is taking 5.7 gigs of RAM. OBS is taking 1.2. NordVPN, which I thought I closed. Safari web content cached. I don't even have Safari open. Do I? Maybe. Let's see. Does that disappear? Yep. Creative Cloud UI Helper. What is that? Creative Cloud UI Helper. Close this. Close Spotify. It's 250 megs. Microsoft Word. Didn't even. The hell is this? Creative Cloud. What is it? Get out of here. You want to share? Do you want to? No. Okay. Alright. So we're going to start writing and we're going to monitor some of these things and see what the problem was yesterday. And need to figure that out before the weekend and going back into it. OBS is taking, whoa, holy jumping. OBS says that CPU right now is at 12.5%, but then here it says OBS is 124% CPU, 21% GPU. Zwift is 110 and 32 respectively. Why does it say Zwift? Intel? What the hell are you talking about? Intel. Those are the only things taking really anything. Okay. Now, I'm going to open Safari, which is going to take some RAM, but I just want to see what's going on the stream at the same time, which is not what I was doing yesterday. Yesterday, I had the stream running off my dad's computer, which was separate. Now, I'm going to open Safari, which is going to take some RAM, but I just want to see what's going on the stream. Let's just see what's up here, which is not what I was doing yesterday. Yesterday I was so we're gonna do just an hour heat session. I got a brutal headache right now. But we continue on. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get stuff all on screen at the same time so I could see what's up. Man, YouTube uses a lot. YouTube's a whole gig of memory. Anyways, okay, it still doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Zwift, as much as 5.7 gigs of memory is, that's a lot. I remember seeing on a forum thing the other day someone saying like, oh, Zwift only uses 3 gigs of memory, and that was from a forum post from 2020. So that's 5.7 now. So it's actually 5.75, so double what it was using then. But even so, this computer has, well, actually interesting. When you add all these little numbers up, all these little numbers add up. And so right now, it's what I said yesterday. Right now, we have physical memory capacity of 16, okay? The memory that is being used is 13.73. Cached files 2.34, and swap used, I'm assuming what they mean is like going off to the SSD, is 2.3 or 230 megs. Memory used, cached files, so yeah, if I add those two numbers up plus that, yeah, so that should be that number. Memory, wired memory. Okay, it's like, that's really close to that limit. I still stand by my thing yesterday, and I still think it's the memory. I will die on my hill of saying that what's it called? What is this? Yeah, sure, I'll do that. How do I change this? Let's go in here. I don't need a warm-up this time. Get rid of you. I just want to plod along for 60 minutes. Pretty easy heat session. Okay. Where's erg? I started that workout, did I not? Everyone saw that, right? Stupid thing. Anyways, yeah, so I will stand by my statement and still say that oh yeah. I don't know why that trainer does that. It just locks up entirely at the beginning of every ride. Anyways, just need to get that thing going. I'll stand by my thing and say it's RAM. I think it's a RAM issue. I think something in it is... I mean, here's the thing, like, and I'm asking this, like, hypothetically, because I don't want to act like, I'm not acting here like I know everything and whatever. I'm asking. So, if a program, let's just say, hypothetically, OBS and Zwift, the combination, even though, as I said, I've had that happen when I haven't been on OBS, when I've just been doing a normal bike ride. And so, one second. Hypothetically, though, let's say yesterday, Zwift and OBS, let's say the two of them were taking up more than 16 gigs of RAM. Hypothetically. Take me some time to get this down. Hold on. Would you not see, from the moment you get into the game, if you were already above the limit or above the capacity, would you not see problems from second number one? Instead of having it be like, okay, perfectly fine, for an hour and a half, and then suddenly you start seeing frames drop, and then progressively, over the course of the next couple hours, getting worse and worse and worse, until you're down to 1 frame per second, FPS, 1 FPS. And you're at a ping of 900. To me, it, like, when I think of something getting progressively worse and worse, I think of like, oh, I'm on the wrong bike. Oh well. I wanted to ride on that other bike to upgrade it, but I'm not stopping. When I think of something getting progressively worse and worse, I lean towards more something's getting too hot, and so it's heating up, and so the performance, just like me here doing a heat session, it's getting worse and worse as you get more and more dehydrated, as your core temp goes higher and higher and higher, your performance gets lower and lower, right? So that's how I think of it when I think about things getting progressively worse. It's like there's a degradation, not just you log in, and to me it's like if I was already above the RAM capacity, wouldn't it already be garbage right from the get-go? I don't know. To me that seems reasonable, logical. But as I said, I don't know. I like to think I know my way around computers pretty well, better than a lot of people. But I'm not going to be like I'm the computer guru of all gurus, right? I don't know everything. I'm never going to say that I do. But anyways, so it's confusing. And it is confusing why, like, it happens sometimes. And, like, if this was a permanent problem with regards to the memory, wouldn't it just happen on every ride? Right? Wouldn't it just be bad every single ride? But it's not. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's perfectly fine. Let's look at it like, what if it was because OBS is running at the same time? Well, hold on a minute. 2 weeks ago, I did a ride on Zwift on OBS because I streamed the whole thing. Did you guys notice it? A slow degradation of frame rate? Thanks, Rennie. No, it was perfectly fine. And so, why would it happen sometimes and not all the time? If it was always a problem, if it was always, your computer just doesn't have enough RAM. And so, open OBS, open Zwift, and it's going to be a problem every single time. It's like, well, it's not, though. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. As I said, I've had that happen. I've had that happen on just normal workouts, where I'm losing frames and it gets worse and worse and worse. So, this is very confusing to me, the intermittent nature of it. Because, yeah, if it was always just, the computer's underpowered, well, wouldn't it always be underpowered? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't it happen on every single ride then, if the computer wasn't powerful enough? I don't understand. So it's a very perplexing thing because it seems very random to me. And when something's random, it's a lot harder to get to the bottom of. Now, things that I did do between yesterday and today, I disabled the screenshots and video stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. Zwift saving little garbage video clips every 2 seconds. Every time you pass a banner, Zwift is saving a video to your hard drive. And it's like, why? For what purpose? I have no idea. So, it's all very, as I said, the randomness is what is very confusing to me. And it makes it a lot harder to solve. And unfortunately, I do think that a lot of the computers of today, the ones like, even if you were custom building, I said this just a minute ago on my Instagram, even if you were custom building a PC, they're not actually that great. Like, compared to what you could maybe custom build a few years ago even. Just because RAM is now so expensive that it's just like, you know, if you want anything that's like, you know, a true powerhouse, we're talking significant money, significantly more than this computer. Like, literally. Like, it's not like, oh, well, you know, it's still cheaper than this one. No, not really. Any of those just normal pre-builts, like from Skytech or whatever that one is, like if you go to the thing and you want something that's 32 gigs RAM, a minimum of 2,000. I think I saw one cheaper than that. It was maybe 1,700. But it was like Intel i5, which it's like, it's not that great. And it was like the non-K version of the processor. So I don't think it's actually that great of a computer overall. Had like a 8 gig graphics card, which again, it's not that much better than like what we used to be able to buy 10, 15 years ago. Like, imagine that in 2009, I bought a Dell XPS, and that's the thing, I don't keep any of my photos, videos here. It's got, I know we have a huge amount of space, for sure. I have like 800 gigs free on the hard drive. But then, yeah, all my photos, videos, and stuff I keep on my phone. And then I just delete them. But yeah, in 2009, the Dell XPS that I bought had 16 gigs of RAM. You can buy an Alienware Area 51 right now for like $3,500 starting price. Guess how much RAM it has? 16. Like, we haven't actually advanced that much. And as I said, people could sell it off to me and be like, oh, well, it's more efficient. You know, it's better than what it was back in the, at the end of the day, 16 is 16. We see it here, right? Memory, we're right now taking 13.7 out of 16. Unified or not, that 13.7 is still 13.7, so that's like 90%. So we're close. It's very confusing. And I'm positive that I do think, like, if I was to go upstairs right now and one of them was on Prime and buy, you know, even just one of the $1,500 ones, I'm sure it would absolutely run Zwift like butter. But I don't have that money. And to me, I'm like, I feel like an M1 Pro is more than enough. I just can't get over that. Like, you're telling me it cannot run Zwift. Which, yes, Zwift looks pretty and stuff like that. But let's be honest. Like, compare this to, like, 2005 Call of Duty. It's like, this is garbage, Like, it's not that good. Like, when you really think about it, compared to, like, some really intensive video games, like, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Easy stuff. So I just can't see this being, like, so incredibly underpowered that yesterday I uploaded the ride into this analyzer tool. It went down to 1 FPS. 1. It stayed around 3 for the last hour and a bit. 3 FPS. Oh my god. And when it went down to 1, that was right before I'm like, okay, you gotta get off right now or else it's gonna shut down. And so I did close. I know I said it crashed. I closed right before it crashed. So it had minutes left before it did. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Anyways, I say overall today I feel pretty horrible. My legs are fine. Had actually a good swim, but got a bad headache. Feel kind of just like blah, like not good. My head is like just, and the headache, and that's what it's from. My head's just spinning. Thinking about that ride and thinking, what the hell, man? Why did it do that? And literally just being like, oh, I'm gonna buy a computer right now. Like, I don't care what it costs or anything. And it's just like, no, you can't. Don't be stupid. Like, this surely can do it. Other people have M1 Pros with no issue. This, like, surely, this is okay. It's a really good computer. Like, it's better than my old Mac, which had no issues. Ever like that. Right? So it's just something weird, man. It is really hard. Yeah, we had a huge outage. When was it? It would have been 10 days ago. We lost internet for, I think, just under 24 hours. But it was actually kind of freaky because not only did I lose like just Wi-Fi around the house, but also could not access data. Like, just like use, like, a lot of times in the past, if you lose Wi-Fi, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, not whatever, but it was like, alright, I'm just gonna, I'll use my phone, and, I'll turn my phone into a hotspot, and, I'll do my work that way, like, have my phone as a hotspot and get going on my computer here. But this was so weird that in addition to losing Wi-Fi, I could not get data. Like LTE, 3G, nothing. Couldn't get on. Could not access the internet. Needed to drive. It would have been about a mile south of here. Because we were just driving around the neighborhood, waiting until it got signal. And so, drove about a mile south, and then I could load a web page. to see what was actually going on. And so it was really weird. Because, yeah, it was like, I mean, for goodness sakes, when you're camping nowadays, you get internet. You have internet of some kind. Like, you could get Wi-Fi on the campsites now, which I don't think is really camping, but, anyways, it's like, it was crazy, and 24 hours of that. And so, yeah, it was, for me, that's the first time in my life ever, well, at least since, having phones and whatnot, which I got my first phone, it was one of my dad's old phones, and so I inherited it. It would have been maybe grade 10, I want to say. A Samsung flip phone. It was grade 10, I believe. But it didn't have anything on it. It was the weirdest thing in the world. The only thing that you could do on this phone was phone people. Bizarre. Like, just really weird to think about. But that was all I used it for. If, it was out somewhere or whatever and needed a ride back, or whatever, that was it. That was what its purpose was. Make a phone call when you needed to. I don't even think we had text messages. It was phone call. And then I got my first actual phone, like of my own, like not an inherited one, in first year university. And that was a HTC Hero something. I liked that phone, it was nice. But yeah, that was my first actual phone. And it was a smartphone. So it's like really cool just being like, oh my god, I could get on the internet on my phone. This is mind-boggling. And then from there, what would have been my next phone? I think then after that I went to iPhone. No, there was a year where I went to Samsung, an old, like the cheaper model of a Samsung Galaxy or something. But not like the super phone at all. Like whatever their kind of cheap thing was. And then so I guess it would have been maybe first year of my master's when I got my first iPhone. Weird to think about. I remember the phone my mom got for work in early days of cell phones. Oh my god. The thing was like the size of a basketball. This brick. We actually called it the Brick. Can't remember the company on it. And then they went to the Blackberries after that one. Good times. Anyways, so this seems okay. As I said, this isn't an entertaining ride. I'm not really using it to do anything. I'm more just talking to myself here. In all likelihood. But it's just to kind of see if we get the same things happening as yesterday. I don't care, I'll stream every frickin' day. Oh, we did actually just lose frame there. This is just me monitoring the activity stuff. Couldn't manipulate yesterday to get it open, as it was having those issues. So I wanted to see today what it looked like. If it'd be really cool actually if right now it started having issues, because we have the thing open, so now we can see if anything abnormal starts happening. Let's see if today I can guess when I hit zone 3, because the stupidity of Zwift is we can't put it on the screen as a workout. Why would someone want statistics as they're working out? That's just stupid. Stupid idea. So the only way I could get my heat stuff is through my phone, or if I had a Garmin, which I don't actually have a Garmin right now because it died. Interestingly, YouTube just took the second place spot. It's now the second most memory hog thing we got. Goes Zwift at 5.76, then YouTube at 1.21, and then OBS 1.1. The only thing that hurts from yesterday is I cannot feel really my pinky at all right now. So like ulnar nerve, I guess, is cooked. And I think that was just from doing so much out of the saddle that had a lot of weight on it. That combined with the fact that because I knew I needed to change gears relatively often, I was using a thinner towel than I normally would use, like on today's ride, and so it was just a lot of pressure on that nerve. I never get tired of talking. This is my skill / gift. I am the best road trip person in the world, I think. If you got a 9-hour road trip somewhere, I'll talk straight for 9 hours, no problem. That's light work. Light work. I could drive across Canada and not lose, no dead spots in the conversation. Just steady stream. I think every single classroom I ever was in school, at some point I got in trouble for talking. Usually I got, in a lot of my classrooms, eventually I got moved, my desk got moved to beside the teacher's desk. Literally. In most classrooms, I was that kid from talking so much, and then the teacher would pull my desk up, or I would have to bring my desk up, and I would put my desk right next to theirs. And so the rest of the class was back there, and then I was up with the teacher. Hey, how you doing? So I tell you, I got some different relationships with a lot of the teachers. Because, when all the kids were back there chit-chatting between themselves, I was up with the teacher. And we were just like, so how are the kids? Good, 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 good. Oh, Timmy's now starting that? Oh, man, they grow up quick, eh? Oh, cool. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, no, he's doing that. Oh, yeah, okay. That's not to say I got bad grades. I had the highest marks in almost every single class I was in, but I was just chit-chatting away. That was just how I did it. This isn't my normal position. It's just I don't want to go like this and just be talking into my forearms here. So I'm in a very relaxed arrow position. I think we're at about 2.1, I'd say. Heat stress. We're not at zone 3 yet. Definitely not. I don't know if you're still there, but what events do you have coming this year? If you're racing outside, that is. Or is Zwift your main thing right now? Listen how loud that trainer is. They say whisper quiet. What whispers you been listening to? It sounds like a mag trainer, literally. Because like if I pick up the cadence, listen. See how it gets like just really crazy noise. Like core sensor. Like that's what it's called, the core sensor. The second version. So the newer version. And so it's just this little like rectangle about this big, and size of like a toonie, if you know what that is. It's our version of a $2 coin, but in Canada, but it's about that size, and it just kind of clips onto your heart rate monitor, and then it's best when it's like kind of underneath, kind of in line with your armpit area. And so yeah, it's quite good. Couldn't imagine, to be honest, doing heat training without it, even though right now I haven't looked at the data on this ride. The thing is, because I've used it on every ride, and I have a really good idea now from having looked at it so many times of, you know, what effort gets me is in zone 3, which is where you make your heat adaptations, like best bang for buck. I just kind of can closely link the effort that I'm riding at to the zone. And so today, and I also do things like this a lot of times, where I'll ride without looking at it, and then I'll see if I can guess what the number is without looking. See how close I could get it. Sometimes it's bang on, sometimes we're a little off, but usually it's in the ballpark. I'd say right now, let's check. So right now I'd say maybe 2.1, 2.2. Let's check. It's not that hot, so we'll see. And like my heart rate's usually when I get into zone 3, that's when it starts kind of going up, and there's a real shift in the discomfort level. Let's see. Open, live, 2.2. What did I say? Didn't I say 2.1, 2.2? I think I said 2.1, something like that, but I have to go back to the video. I think I said 2.1, 2.2. It's 2.2, bang on. Literally guessed it to the decimal point. And again, that's because of having it so many times during. I have a really good idea of what effort is what number. And so over time, it's just like biking, like with a power meter. You know, first few times, you know, if you blind the power and you ask what power a person's at, they have no idea, right? But, you know, fast forward 10, 15 years of using a power meter, and you can kind of tell what you're at just by the feeling, right? Because you know what 300 watts feels like, you know what 400 feels like, etc. You know what 200 is. And so over time, sometimes you're going to be a little off because some days you're feeling great, and so, you know, 330 like yesterday feels like 285. Okay, but for the most part, on average, you're pretty close. It's expensive, the core thing. But as I said, if somebody, if somebody who didn't have one and doesn't do heat training was like, oh, should I get a core sensor? And depending on where they are in their journey and whatnot, again, if they're not doing heat training and they have no interest in doing heat training, do they need one? No. Like, yeah, it could help you out, like, in hot weather races and stuff like that, but again, if you don't really train in it, then it's like, you know, there's nothing really you can do at that point. So, I think again, it depends what point they are in their journey. But for most people, what I'm saying on average, someone asked me this the other day too, and for most people, most amateurs, age groupers, there's other kind of low-hanging fruit things that they can work on to get better before they start like looking for the, oh, let's try incorporating some heat training. Like if someone's biking, say, 3 to 4 hours a week, and they're like, oh, I want to take my cycling to the next level, like maybe I should start heat training. I would answer back and be like, honestly, I think you'd get more if we just straight up start biking more, than substituting one of those sessions with a heat session. If they just want to add another session and have it be a heat session, sure. But if they say, I only have time to ride, 3 times a week, 1 hour at a time, can I sub one of those out for an hour heat session, over, let's say, the sweet spot session that you have in there every week? I'd be like, no. Because, the sweet spot session's going to have more effect in terms of, increasing FTP potentially, because you're at a higher power. And so, for that person, if I was like, what can we do to hit that next level? I'd be like, well, let's take those 3 hours and make them 4. Assuming we're already doing workouts at the 3. Right? Assuming there's, a VO2 session, tempo sweet spot, whatever in the week already. And they're like, let's go to another level. I would say, yeah, so let's add another session. I wouldn't just be like, yes, so that 1 hour ride, I think instead of doing, 4x4 or like 30-15s, for however many reps, let's do like 150 reps, and make it like, forget 4x4, we'll do, within the 1 hour session, 12x4. It doesn't even make sense. A 4-minute recovery. It's like, that's more than an hour. So assuming they're already doing workouts and they're limited on time to not add in another workout, does someone need to do heat training? No. If they're already doing, say, 10 hours, 15 hours, whatever, of cycling a week, should they start heat training? Yeah, okay, because you're already doing a good amount, so you're already likely doing a good mix of workouts and stuff like that. Could benefit you for sure to add in a kind of a different stress. Absolutely. In which case, yes, I think the core sensor is incredibly valuable for heat training. I've latched onto a group here. Beautiful. We've just crossed over 3.0. Interestingly, Zwift's gone up to 5.82. Is that because there's a group around me now? So in terms of temperatures, we're at 100.5 Fahrenheit. So it's like, I don't know, in Celsius, 38, 38.1 maybe. And skin temperature, that's core temperature, skin temperature 97.3. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I say, like, unless you're already cycling a big amount and, you know, you've been trying a lot of different things and you're looking for something different to add in a new thing, do you need it? No. Like, but if you want, as I say, if you want to try something new in incorporating into an already varied week, then sure, it can be quite valuable. But there are other things I would get before it, is what I'm saying. The first ever thing I bought for my first bike, like time trial bike, the very first thing was a power meter. That was the first purchase. Not, wheels, not... I see some amateurs putting, like, and if they want, sure, but, like, if they got the money, fine, but I see some people who, you know, they're biking under 30k an hour or even around there, and they're buying, like, Fast TT aero bars and being like, oh, it saves me 12 watts. It's like, no, it doesn't. That's at 40, 45 kilometers an hour. At 30, no. Like, you don't really need $2,000 aero bars at that point. You can get them if you want, but there are other things I would do first, which is get a power meter, get a coach, and build your FTP. But, I mean, if they make you feel comfortable on the bike, then it's a different story. Like, if you're uncomfortable without them, but that likely means you just have a really bad bike fit if you can't be comfortable on a bike without something like that. Same thing with, like, ceramic pulley wheels, and it's like, yeah, if you got the money and, you know, you want the bling on your bike's already maxed out as much as it could be, kind of thing, and you feel like you're knocking on the door of like your top potential, and you want to just gain like a watt or two, yeah, okay. But it's when you see those on, like, people who you know for a fact, you're like, there's other things you could have done apart from buying $1,000 pulley wheels to get faster, if that's the goal. Like, you want to be faster. It's like, give me 6 weeks, I can make you faster than the pulley wheels can make you. Not even. 4 to 6 weeks. I guarantee I can make you faster than a set of ceramic speed pulley wheels will make you out the box. And in 4 to 6 weeks, my cost is going to be about a fifth of what those pulley wheels will cost you. So, which one is the better purchase? Tough call. And I do love a good thing, like a good bling set of bling somethings going on a bike, no question. But I'm just saying in terms of bang for your buck. Same with the core sensor. That's why I brought it up. There are other things you can get that will make big differences. Not to say that it's not valuable. If you're doing, I mean, if someone's already doing 3 heat sessions a week or whatever, and they don't have a core sensor, I'd be like, I think you're gonna get a lot of value out of it, right? At that point. Or like they live in a really hot environment, like they're living in Miami, right? Yeah, you'll get a lot of value at that point. But you absolutely don't need it, is my point. You could do heat training without one. I've done it. But I think it's a little bit riskier. You just feel a lot more peace of mind knowing, like, yep, I'm hot enough that I'm getting benefits, but I'm also not too hot that, you know, it's dangerous. And, you know, it's going to have the opposite effect. You're in that sweet spot. Last thing someone wants to do is, you know, do a heat session where they can't really push that much power because they're overheating, right? So not getting a lot of power, or not a lot of benefit from pushing watts, high watts. And then seeing at the end of all that, and kind of feeling crap when you're doing it. And then seeing at the end of that, that I was actually not that hot. My core temperature was, you know, 99.9. It's like, that's not really hot enough to get any heat adaptation. And yet, I couldn't push a lot of power, but I didn't actually get that much out of it. So the return on the investment was poor. You want to know that the training that you're doing is making a difference. Yeah, only the core sensor does. Which is a new feature as well. Whoa, easy there. Didn't mean to change gears there. Zwift, it used to be not able to link either. Not that long ago. It's probably last summer, late summer. It'll be next Sunday. Around 10:30 I'll start warming up. So 11 o'clock Eastern, let's say. .9, 3.5 heat stress. Thank you for tuning in. So, exact same setup as yesterday. No problems. Just hit my intensity goal for the week on Monday. We're done in like 1 minute. This isn't a long ride at all. Hour for a heat session is plenty. I wouldn't go much longer than a 2-hour heat session for me. That's getting too hard to come back from, because you're just too depleted. That's the problem of being such a small gear. I got no resistance. This is on a 34 tooth. So that's like we're in about the 13. And that's pretty much it there. That's before I'm uncomfortable at this cadence. But I'll just make it 40k. Even though this is a very uncomfortable cadence. Listen how loud that is. Alrighty. Well, no issues there. Wow, a lot of sweat. 3.8, 101.05. Okie doke. I'm sure that was a riveting stream, but... Oh, thank you. Thanks for joining to what was not much of a ride to watch, for sure. It was more just testing. And yeah, I'll see ya on Sunday if I see ya. Until then, have a good one and sleep well. Catch you next time.